Hey guys, Lee here from the RCWR show. Okay, so this is a little bit of a companion piece to this week's RCWR show that is available up on YouTube right now, and it'll soon be available on demand and on the downloads by Wednesday evening, as there's going to be some bonus topics that I'll be getting into. It'll also include my thoughts on this week's Raw and SmackDown, as we really did not get into it on the initial broadcast. Meant to, but kind of lost a little bit track of time. Let me cut to the chase here. I have been in the podcasting world since 2011, and I was not taught by anybody. Nobody took me by the hand and taught me everything that I've been able to learn up to this point. I am not a professional radio broadcaster, a professional radio personality, but I do have dreams, aspirations of going into that field, to the point that me and my family, we've sat down, and it is now looking more and more realistic in 2019 in particular and beyond, that I will be definitely continuing my education and that I'll be trying to major in radio broadcasting. I say all this because, I'm sure a lot of my colleagues will admit to this as well, but we all have had our fair share of fuck ups, let me tell you. But what's very important about these fuck ups that we make is, okay, we learn from it and we move on. And, a blessing and a curse with regards to doing the show for as long as I've been doing it, since 2011. For the most part, I've done the show as a solo act. Once in a while, I'll have a co-host, but kind of like the Batman movies, who's going to be Batman next doesn't last that very long. And I've kind of found that as the years have progressed, I just work better by myself, or maybe having a co-host in the missus, and she helps me out from time to time. But for the most part, I like doing the stuff solo. It's a blessing and a curse because I can get into the topics that I want to get into without boring my co-hosts. But then the curse that comes to it is, if I say something that needs more clarification, or if maybe I mess somebody's name up, I don't have somebody across in my ear, or somebody I can be looking at during a live webcast and they can pretty much correct me right there on the spot. Or maybe while we're doing the show, we have a little chat room for ourselves and they're telling me certain things. Hey, I'm going to the bathroom, keep talking for the next 10 minutes or what have you. Sadly, because I don't have anybody that's there to be interacting, a lot of times if I make verbal mistakes, half the time I try to do my best to catch them and correct myself. But a lot of times I'm not able to. And the past couple of weeks, I've had to, like Kevin Hart and a couple of other people, I've had to try to piggyback and clarify on a particular thing that was said on a most recent episode of the RCWR show. And despite clarifying, I have just been dealing with trolls. That's honestly what it is. I have been dealing with trolls. Now, maybe some of these people are good-natured. Maybe they feel that their heart is in the right place. But I beg to differ, as the past couple of weeks, they've all pretty much shown up conveniently within the same time span at about the same time as far as the length of the show, how much I've gotten into when these particular individuals have popped up and they've decided to troll in the chat room. I'm calling it for what it is. And this is what's going to be happening from here on out. And it really pains me to say this because with regards to the RCWR show, I like to look at this show and our community of very mature individuals, mostly not kids, mature individuals that are like anywhere from 18 to 55, but the heart of our audience is 25 to 55, right? So these are really mature people. These are people that know a lot better. But we have these trolls, and it pains me to say this, but effective immediately, Live chat rooms will be disabled. We've had a couple of bad apples that have honestly just been ruining the live experience, not just for me, but for the listeners. And that's not fair to them, because at the end of the day, they are tuning into a show where they want to hear about the very latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond. And it's not fair to them that they continue to deal with silly distractions. So if you ask me if the chat will ever come back, I don't have an answer for you. I just know that for the foreseeable future, there's not going to be a chat room. And you know what? Some of the best, who I respect a great deal, have done their shows for years, longer than I have been doing my show, and they do not have any type of a live chat function whatsoever. So the way I'm going to be making up for the fact that there's not going to be a live chat, there will be a Discord. It's already basically set up. I just got to basically make the group and everything. And I will definitely be reaching out to some of you guys, those of you that I know for a fact have been longtime listeners. You've been with me through some good times, bad times. You've always flown the straight and narrow with me, right? Even when I fuck up, I say something that you don't agree with, you bust my chops. At the end of the day, we still respect one another. I'm going to do my best to reach out to you guys, let you know what's going on with that Discord information. And from here on out, whenever the shows will be live and you want to interact, it's basically going to be through that private Discord. That's pretty much how we're going to be doing it going forward. I don't know if the live chat on YouTube will ever come back. I don't. And quite honestly, with all the ugliness that I'm seeing, it's like, I don't even think it's worth it, quite honestly. Now, that brings me to another point. The RCWR show with Lee Sanders is part of a network. It is part of a company, my company, which is Infinity One Productions, LLC. I say that to make this point. For those that are or were coming into the chat room, causing the disruptions, making the accusations that they were making, understand something. What you are doing is ultimately a form of slander, and it is a form of defamation. And guess what? You can go to court for that. Now, some of you guys may feel that because you're making different YouTube handles and all that other stuff, you guys are okay, right? But guess what? YouTube can work and will work with authorities when they know, without a shadow of doubt, records show, hey, this particular YouTube personality, it has been harassed by this particular account or this series of accounts. And they will be able to establish by looking at the IP address where that person that created the account or bogus accounts in question are coming from. And guess what? You will definitely get in trouble with the law. So, we've had trolls that want to come into the chat and talk a few things. And let me tell you something. I'm friends with a couple of people in YouTube, friends with a couple of people that work in law enforcement. One of my friends actually is a police officer. Actually friends with some people that work in the FBI. So if you all, my message to you trolls out there, if you are going to continue to go down this path of slander and defamation of character, as that's what you're doing, please be prepared for eventually getting involved in a lawsuit with me that you will lose. I promise you. So, I shouldn't have to say all this. I really shouldn't, but, I have to. I have to. I mean, at the end of the day, this is my name. This is my brand. This is my company. This is my livelihood. And I'm defending it all until my last dying breath, until I cannot be on this earth anymore. When I feel that there is a wrong, long-time listeners know, if I make a mistake, I fuck up, I own it, and I own that shit. I apologize, and boom, I clarify. There have been many times where I've butted head with listeners, and eventually we kiss, we make up, or that listener goes their way and they go my way, right? To those that may be bummed out hearing this news that the live chat is disabled, trust me, I'm working very diligently. I'm actually going to be interacting with my pretend sister, because she's been trying to get me for the longest time to work on the whole Discord thing. So I'm going to be picking her brain, and we're going to see if we can fine tune everything. And hopefully within the next 2 weeks, if not maybe start of 2019, we'll definitely have that up and running. So I do appreciate you guys' patience in the meantime. And I know there are those of you that from time to time like to donate super chats, things of that nature. If you still want to offer up a donation, you can definitely do so. You can make a donation on patreon.com/RCWR show. You can also make a donation. I got to look up my Hotmail handle. It's been a while, but I'll definitely look up all that information and we'll have that for you updated next go round. I do promise you guys, but hopefully I will never ever have to do something like this again, because like I said, I've been doing this since 2011 and all I want to do for you guys is entertain. That's it. I want to take you all's mind off of whatever problems that you may be having at home. Whether you're in an abusive relationship or work is just shitty, or your friends, your life, whatever, something's just not going your way, or maybe you just ain't feeling what's going on with your shift at work. I'm happy to take your mind off of whatever problems you have been having throughout your day, and we all can just kick on back, have a good time, make fun of this crazy thing called pro wrestling that we all love, and just keep giving you guys the show that you guys have continued to been getting since 2011. And make no mistake about it, I'm not stopping. I know what these trolls want. They want to try to get up in here and, okay, I'm quitting the show. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I've worked too long. I've put too many hours into this. I'm not doing that. So work with me, folks. I appreciate the patience. We'll have all of this modified, but this is it. This is my final week. The only time I'm going to be doing something like this. So from here on out, let the good times roll. That's all I have to say. So yeah, that's going to do it. I don't care if you give this a thumbs up or a like, but hopefully, ultimately, you respect the position that I'm coming from, just as I try to do my very best to respect every single one of you guys every single week. I mean, I've seen a lot of ugliness in the chat system, in the chat boards the past couple of weeks. And what I had saw with this week's show, just too fucking ugly for me, that I just had to put my foot down and say, no more. I'm not having it, So, yeah, that's going to do it. I'm shutting this down because I don't want to be ranting. I will see you guys for our TLC preview and predictions. We'll dive into that. And I'll see you guys this Sunday for our TLC after show. Until then, please be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Y'all do take care, and may the good news be yours.